Welcome back to BCUZ. I'm here with a man who needs no introduction, but I'll give him his introduction. Mayor Al Larson, thanks for coming in this morning.
Well,
I appreciate you making time. We just heard Mayor Larson at the SBA Good Morning breakfast giving his state of Schaumburg. He did an awesome job as usual, giving us an update, and now we're fortunate enough to have him in the BCUZ studio and going to get some snippets from how the recap of 2014 and what's new for 2015. So, in a word, what would you say about 2014? How did the village finish up?
I finished up very well. It's not over yet for us because our fiscal year is different from yours probably, but we're getting more hotels coming into Schaumburg. Right now we have 25 hotels. We're going to be breaking ground for 5 of them this year.
Okay.
And so, I mean, how many towns can boast that many hotels?
Right, yeah, especially in the economic climate, obviously improving, but I think that's a testament because the hoteliers really do their homework when it comes to trends and occupancy and those type of things, so I think that's very encouraging.
Our convention center is actually bearing fruit. That's what's happening. You're finding that because of the convention center and the success of the shows they have there, bringing people in from out of town and out of state, they're eating in the restaurants, they're shopping in the shops, they're staying in our hotels, and as a result, restaurateurs have taken note of that, and we're getting Restaurant Row. Meacham Road is going to be Restaurant Row, the west side of Meacham, from Higgins North all the way to the tollway.
That's great. Yeah, I heard David Burke's new place is coming in. That'll be really exciting.
They've opened their high-end steakhouse. We could use more high-end steakhouses. We have Chicago Prime.
Sure.
We have Zeal. So we have a few more than other towns might have, but still, can always have more restaurants.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with restaurants, and it's nice to have a restaurant row. I think you found with restaurants a lot of times you get the hot spot and it builds. You know, in the old days there was the restaurants kind of look to have their distance between them. Now it seems like they do, yeah,
they cluster. They
cluster quite a bit.
Yeah,
that's great. So 2014 finished up strong. What's our thoughts for 2015 for the village of Schaumburg?
Well, you know, we're encouraged by our northerly TIF district. The properties that are roughly from south of the tollway, from the tollway north all the way to Algonquin, and from 53 all the way west to Roselle Road. The TIF district is going to fund some high-end development that's already taking place. Zurich American is locating their North American headquarters on the Motorola property. Sunstar, which is a Japanese company, I believe, has come in with their oral hygiene kind of products that they're manufacturing. They bought 80 acres from the Archdiocese. Okay. They're developing 40 of the 80, and there's the other 40 they're going to market themselves. So it looks very, very encouraging.
That's great. Yeah, it's I think real encouraging and smart of the village with the TIF district to make sure that we place ourselves in a path to be successful and make opportunities for these businesses like Sunstar and Zurich. You know, again, Zurich is a perfect example, I think.
2,500 jobs.
Yeah, I mean, huge amount of jobs. You know, we're past, Klein to Schaumburg, obviously, and making sure we had room for them and had a space for them. And the Motorola property through the TIF district, I think it's a great win-win opportunity.
I think the Park District programs are a big win-win for the village, really. Olympic Park, I mean, that's got to be a real gem for you guys.
Yeah, it really is. You know, it's a credit to Jerry Hanlon and the staff, and Gene, that go back a number of years. Olympic Park and the Sports Center both for us, as a vehicle for us, but then also, like you mentioned in your speech, the economic impact they have on the village and the hotels and restaurants. I can't, the number of people I run into in other communities that say, "Oh yeah, Olympic Park." You know, it's almost becoming Woodfield is always the quick. Oh, what is Schaumburg about? Yeah. But now with families in Olympic Park and soccer, it becomes that immediate. Oh yeah, I remember being there, being close to Woodfield, and again, it does well for all the businesses.
It does well for us. I mean, especially we want to see you guys do more. Your sports center is doing very, very well too, isn't it? That's an airport property. I don't know if people realize that.
Yep. And you'll be happy to know, as part of this year's projects for the Park District.
You're kidding me.
We're going to get some nice visibility on the back of the building there. There was a guy I ran into one time who had this great idea about putting
well,
the
yeah,
name
because
on the back
you're
of the
in a train, you're coming. What's that big building over there? What is it? Is it part of the airport? Is it an airport hangar? What is it?
Right.
But you advertise it because those people coming by on a train those are customers.
Yeah, it's customers, and again, like you said, especially with the sports market that we tap into, soccer and volleyball Mall and the tournaments that go to Sports Center, it's not just people from Schaumburg, Hoffman, Streamwood. I mean, Elgin, further west that use that.
It's a regional draw
line.
too.
It is. Yeah, I know. I heard a couple of things people will be happy about in the community. The legendary Trader Joe's is coming to Schaumburg, so everybody, that's the hot topic.
Oh, yeah. That's going to be a Trader Joe's that's built from the ground up. Other Trader Joe's are kind of storefront operations, and they, this is going to be kind of a bit of an experiment, I suspect. Right there, visibility on Gulf Road. Right. So not that far from Whole Foods.
Yeah, that'll be a fantastic opportunity. I know, again, a lot of people have been waiting for that, and it's nice that your team at the Village, I think, kudos to them for staying on. The vendors and it takes a lot of hard work.
We've got some good people.
Yeah,
well, you guys have good people too.
Yeah, very, very, very thankful for that. A couple of things that were mentioned in the speech this morning. Talking a little bit about the survey that was done, and I was very impressed to hear some of the numbers. I'm born and raised in Schaumburg and raising my family there too. But the survey, the attitude and interest survey that you guys did, some of the resident numbers, I think 95% rated as a great place to raise a family. I think it is, but it's still. I think it's a great tribute to the job you guys do, making sure the proper infrastructures and amenities are in place to get those type of numbers.
And I'm sure those people have kids who patronize the Park District.
True. Good point. Good point.
With the swimming pools that you guys have in the summertime, the Olympic Field, we talked about that.
Right.
The Heritage Farm site. Spring Valley is a gem.
Spring Valley is a gem. Yeah, and we're, the Nature Museum went through some transformation. We opened up the windows in the back this year, and I'm sure saw inside, and we're really proud of the property and proud of
bragging rights in terms of having a nature center.
Yeah, it's a real nice amenity for the Park District.
One of the good indicator as to how well Schaumburg is doing is in terms of retail sales. Our vacancy rate at Streets of Woodfield is 1%.
Wow.
Our vacancy rate at Woodfield is on the order of 3 to 4%. Our vacancy rate in Woodfield Village Green is again 5%. So it's, you're seeing a lot of activity, a lot of commercial activity. We generate more retail sales in Schaumburg than anywhere in the state of Illinois outside the city of Chicago.
Yeah, that's an amazing stat. I know when I go to conferences and people talk about Schaumburg and the different communities within Illinois, I think people are still somewhat surprised to hear those type of stats and how a major economic force Schaumburg is in itself.
We have more Japanese companies than anywhere in the state of Illinois.
Amazing.
As a matter of fact, I attended a function at the Convention Center on Sunday. It was the annual New Year's celebration for Japanese business people. 500 people there.
Wow.
And that's Chicago Japanese Chamber of Commerce coming here to Schaumburg. They love our hotel. They love the amenities. And that's great. That's great.
Yeah, that's an amazing stat. And I know a lot of people too in the Village with Septemberfest, the outside pavilion that you highlighted. I think that's been received so well.
Oh, it looks great,
by everybody.
It
looks great, and it's the whole Prairie Center for Arts campus there. I think you guys have done such an outstanding job.
Yeah, but so have you. We have a partnership with you on a Summer Breeze concert.
The Summer Breeze concert has gone very, very well.
Oh, yeah.
We're happy to be partners with you in that. Anything else new for 2015 that we can look forward to?
That's a good question.
I know you mentioned one of the breakfast place coming into a lot of people. I know
Applebee's
talking about the town square. In
Applebee's looks like there's somebody's got a contract on that. It's not been finalized yet, but it sounds like it might be a breakfast place there.
Oh, great.
No, I could just guess what it might be, but I don't want to.
No. I think as long as people in the community realize that the Village is working hard to fill those spots.
And at the Dominic store is at Town Square. There were actually two buyers.
Oh, that's great to hear.
And one of them was a food store, and the other one was not a food store. It was actually a movie theater.
Really? Huh.
I mean, it's kind of interesting, but I think that neighborhood deserves a food store more than
I would tend to agree with that. As a shopper of groceries.
Well, especially since that residential development at the northwest corner.
Right.
They're selling like crazy.
Yeah, it's gangbusters. It's nice to see those houses being done. It's funny that you mentioned the movie, because I was happy to see Streets of Woodfield, the infrastructure that they're going to do for the movie theaters. I think again, whenever you have a tenant that's willing to reinvest, obviously Woodfield's going to go through a huge transformation. With some of their infrastructure. I think that really bodes well.
A lot of interior stuff going to get redone as far as Woodfield brings it up to pleasant present day
Right.
architecture.
Yeah, yeah, it's amazing. And again, it's so nice to go into Woodfield in the holidays and see it's such a busy place, and everybody getting their shopping needs done there is a great thing to see.
Yeah. And at David Burke's Steakhouse, I've driven past it a couple of times when it looks like it's been accepted by the community.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Good place to take corporate people.
For sure, and you always need enough of those spots. You know, one of the other things I just wanted to make sure we highlight as we finish up too, but the road infrastructure, and again, I think the village has done such a great job. The Barrington-Schaumburg interchange, you know, it obviously, you know, was a little bit hard to get through when it's under construction, but now I think everybody appreciates the time and the work that was done into that planning.
There's a mayor of Charleston, South Carolina, who puts it well. He said, "Don't be afraid to bring beauty into the public realm."
Right.
That was Joe Riley, who's
Okay.
been mayor forever in Charleston, and just a real forward thinker. But that's part of economic development too.
Right.
You make your town attractive for people who want to live here, who want to work here. You make it look good, make it look nice.
Sure.
You know, that's an investment in economic development. You know,
Right.
because it's a difference between what you have and what other town might have.
Yeah, yeah, and then the other transportation piece I just wanted to mention, and it was touched on this morning too, obviously the construction on Roselle and the bridge and Meacham and the bridge, but then your staff talked about that there will be a bike trail bridge there, and I think that's just a huge infrastructure and really important, you know, obviously to bridge the gap between the north and south, and Harper especially for those residents and students that want to take a bike up to Harper to have that opportunity.
We're a bicycle-friendly community, certainly, and that's
Right.
important to give people an option to be able to use bicycles.
Yeah, I think that's a great thing.
I think so too.
Yeah. Well, I'm just about done with my questions. Anything else that you'd like to add?
Yeah, how old is Dave Johnson?
Well, he's been on the board 42 years, so I guess he's a couple years older than that. Is that the politically correct answer, right out of the executive director?
That's close enough.
Well, and I'll really thank you so much for all you do for the village as a resident, as a Schaumburg staff person. We really appreciate the hard work that you and your staff do, and again, thanks for coming in this morning.
Thanks for being such a great partner.
Thanks. You're quite welcome. We'll continue the good work.
Okay.
We'll be right back after these messages.